Okay, we're going to give it just a see a number are joining the session just now as we are reaching 1 p.m. But as we are waiting for some of those additional entries, I'm going to go ahead and ask everyone to use this link real quick, if possible, to fill out a quick form letting us know if you have further questions or you're looking for additional follow-up information. We'll be following up with anyone who does fill out this quick form with resources and additional information as quickly as possible. Let's get started. Okay, so you are here for our Financing Your Study Abroad workshop. So we do know financing is one of the primary concerns for studying abroad. So we want to make sure that you have as many resources available to you as early as possible in this process. I am Barbara Young. Sure, Emily, 1 second. Let me see if I can find that link. I may send it at the end just because quickly right now I'm not able to pull it up, but I will make sure that you have that link so that we can ensure you have any follow-up questions answered. Thanks. As Emily's already found, please do feel free to drop questions in the chat throughout this session. But quick introduction, I am Barbara Young, Program Manager for our Partnership and Exchange Programs Unit. So I work primarily with students who are planning a study abroad during a full semester, as well as some summer programs to Latin America, Spain, and some of our multiple destination programs. So welcome. The session today, as I mentioned, will cover items like the different types of programs available through our office, how financial aid works for study abroad programs, scholarship and grant opportunities, community-based funding options, and some next steps to really make sure you're getting started. So again, please feel free to use the chat box here. As we're starting off, if you know already where you are hoping to study abroad, please go ahead and drop those locations in the chat box so we can get a feel for who else in the room and where people are interested in studying abroad. Japan, awesome. Where else? New Zealand, wonderful. South Korea, the United Kingdom, lots of different locations here. Middle East, wonderful. It's okay if you don't know yet. There's lots of time to be planning, but it sounds like we have a good variety of locations where people are interested in studying. It's great to see. Okay. So to give you a little overview of the different types of programs our office has to offer, we're going to go through some of those details just so you know the basics, if this isn't already knowledge you have. So first off are going to be our faculty-directed summer programs. And these are going to be programs run by ASU faculty members teaching direct ASU classes where you'll be earning ASU credit. These programs are typically between 2 and 8 weeks and run over the summer. These programs will include a program fee that you will be billed, which includes tuition for the credit associated with the program, as well as housing during the duration of the program and other various programmatic costs. So things like trips to museums and other points of interest during the semester, or summer in this case. So you'll see that on each of the program brochure pages, what types of items are included in the program fee will be listed. The next type of program we're going to cover today are the Global Intensive Experience programs. These programs are going to be 7 to 12 days long and will run during academic breaks. So think about winter break, spring break, post-spring, pre-fall. So they're tied to a semester session and a semester course. That semester course may be a session A or B course or a full session C course, or maybe just one credit that runs during that condensed break. Similar to the faculty-directed summer programs, these programs are going to be led by ASU faculty members teaching direct ASU courses. You will know exactly from the brochure page what ASU credit you will be earning. In this case, the program fee is going to include a few different items. So it will include housing and other various programmatic costs, but does not include tuition. And that is because your tuition is going to be tied to your semester tuition for the credits associated with this program type. You will be able to use ASU financial aid and scholarships that you receive during the semester like normal towards this program type. For partnership programs, these programs are going to run through all different term options. So summer programs, semester programs, and full year programs are available through our partnership programs. With this program type, you'll be taking classes with students from all over the world. So students from across the US, as well as students internationally. With partnership programs, you'll be studying abroad with one of our on-site program providers. So today, you may have visited booths from Kappa and Semester at Sea. These are going to be our partnership programs. What's great with these is you do have that on-site staff support who are there to provide resources and help as needed. For this type of program, you will be paying a program fee that will, again, include your tuition, housing, and other activities. And again, for the semester programs, all of your normal ASU financial aid and scholarships can be applied during the semester. And financial aid can also be used during the summer. We'll get more into that later. The last type of program is going to be our exchange programs. These are going to run during summer, semester, and full year terms. Classes are going to be taught by foreign university faculty. So you will be in classes alongside local students with these programs. Exchange programs are our most immersive study abroad experience. And it's important to keep in mind that because of that and because of the enrollment with local students, there are some programs that will have foreign language proficiency requirements. Not all do, but some will have required language experience in order to take classes alongside local students. For exchange programs, you will be paying your regular ASU tuition for the semester, as well as some additional fees through our office. And you'll find those on our program cost sheets, which we'll show you where to find in a little bit. And again, ASU financial aid and scholarships can be applied towards our semester exchange programs. So, application costs. So what are some of those nitty-gritty details of what you'll see on your account? So first off, you will see that $50 application fee that will be billed as part of your application process. You will also see mandatory registration fees to ASU. So this will include items like your college fees, the special program fees, so Barrett, your department charges any fees, as well as the financial aid trust fee. For partnership programs and summer faculty-led programs, your program fee can be split into 2 payments, paid 1 month apart. Exchange programs, because you are paying your regular ASU tuition, if you need to look into the tuition payment plan, that is something you can pursue. But because our office does not bill tuition directly, that's the university that takes care of that, you'll need to use normal tuition billing. Okay, don't see any questions in the chat so far, but I'm going to give us a couple minutes in case there are any questions about the different program types before we move into how financial aid can apply to programs. So ASU scholarships can be applied to some of our program types, yes. And we'll show you a chart in a little bit that will show you more exact details of which scholarships will apply to which program types and terms. Good question, Flor. So when you say normal tuition fee included, does that mean we only pay the additional costs for these programs? So for programs that have a program fee associated, tuition is included unless stated otherwise. So our partnership programs and summer faculty directed programs, tuition is included in the program fee, and you pay that fee listed on our website instead of tuition. Exchange programs, you will be paying your standard ASU tuition for the semester you are studying abroad on exchange. I hope that helps to clarify. Okay, so we'll move into some financial aid details. Great, thanks, Serena. Okay, so first step is making sure that you have submitted your FAFSA. I know sometimes this can get complicated, it's a long process, but please do make sure you are submitting your FAFSA as part of this process. Many scholarships you will find will ask for information that is reported through FAFSA in order to consider you for other scholarship opportunities. So it is important that you file FAFSA each year so that that information is available for any scholarships you may be applying for in the future. You'll be surprised. Oftentimes students do find that they receive more than they expect. And through studying abroad, your FAFSA will be reassessed based on the cost of attendance for your specifically selected study abroad program. So because of that, again, it's important to have a FAFSA on file because that reassessment process cannot take place unless you've done that initial legwork. Next step you're going to want to make sure you're taking is reviewing our cost sheets. So make sure you know the program fee, know what is going to be included in that program fee and what's not included. So what those estimated out-of-pocket costs are. And then planning. Planning is crucial. You'll need to make sure that you know what exactly the rules are for your specific financial aid package and be strategic about how much aid you're accepting throughout the year. So for example, if you are considering participating on a summer study abroad program and are hoping to use federal loans to help offset those costs, you need to be careful about what you're accepting throughout the academic year, as summer session falls as part of the prior academic year. So currently we're in the 2020-2021 academic year. So financial aid will go from fall 2020 through summer 2021, and summer aid will be considered kind of after you've exhausted your resources during the academic year. So if you're planning to study abroad in summer 2021, maybe it's a choice that you can consider to not accept all loans during the semester. Okay, so again, make sure that you are submitting your FAFSA. You'll find on each of our brochure pages a financing tab that will cover lots of information. So this will be our main website kind of outline for financing study abroad. So you'll find details on financial aid, scholarships and grants, and all of those other resources. We do strongly recommend, as you identify a program, to make sure that you are visiting or speaking with financial aid and scholarship services to make sure that you clearly understand your financial aid package and how it will apply to the specific program you are intending to participate on. Please do make sure that you are requesting to speak with a financial aid counselor. No, they have a great team over there and their student staff who help with lots of Inquiries are great resources, but study abroad is often a more complex topic, and it's really important that you're speaking with someone who is knowledgeable about study abroad implications. As I mentioned previously, cost sheets are really important to make sure that you are finding the information that you need on how costs are broken down, what is covered, not covered, included, not included. So here on this page, you will see where to find those cost sheets, and we are going through a bit of a website migration, so you may see that some programs, the pages will look a little different than this. So you will find on those pages instead a cost tab where you'll be able to find this information broken down as well. So here you'll be able to see an example in the foreground of a partnership semester program. You'll see these top 4 items are what we will call billable items. So these are charges that you will see on your ASU student account. The next section will be non-billable items, and these are items that will be fees that you should be planning for, but are going to be estimated costs to help you create a budget for what expenses to anticipate while you're studying abroad. So you'll see on this program, airfare is a line item in the non-billable field. So you will be responsible for purchasing your own airfare and need to account for what that cost may look like. So we provide estimates in this section based on partner information, student reports of spending, what we find for kind of standard cost of living and airfare rates from Arizona. So know that these are not exact amounts in most cases, and you may find better deals, or you may find, if you want to eat out frequently and have large extravagant meals, you may go over budget from what is listed here. So it's important to keep in mind that these non-billable items will really depend on you and your spending habits. In the background here, you'll see we have an example of an exchange program. And for this program, you'll see those billable items. Because ASU has so many different tuition rates, we're not able to reflect all tuition rates in our cost sheet, but you will see the fees that will be placed on your account by the study abroad office listed here. Okay. If you have questions about cost sheets for your program or program costs, all of our program pages will list an international coordinator on them, and please do not hesitate to reach out to make sure that you clearly understand what costs you are looking at. Okay, and last step, as we mentioned, is planning. So making sure that you have a good, solid plan in place. So making sure that you're enrolling in enough credits for financial aid purposes, so 12 credits or more during the semester. During the summer, you do need to be enrolled in at least 6 credits in order for financial aid to apply. So making sure that you're taking those steps to enroll in enough credits in order to have financial aid be eligible to use towards your program. So we mentioned saving financial aid for a later disbursement cycle is something that we do see a lot of students consider. Again, as a reminder, that disbursement cycle does go fall, spring, summer. So summer is that last term. And if you have accepted all aid that you are offered during the fall and spring, receiving financial aid during the summer may be a little more challenging for you. So it's important to keep that in mind as you're considering when to accept financial aid and how much to accept. And then expect a reassessment of your financial aid offering. FAFSA does automatically reassess your total cost of attendance based on information that is reported by our office to their team. So that process will take place automatically once you are in our system with an application on file for an upcoming program that has an established cost. Okay. Before we go into scholarships, I'm going to give us again another minute or so in case there are questions. Again, if you have questions as we're going through information, please don't hesitate to drop those questions in the chat, and I may not answer them immediately, but I will get to them during these breaks between sections. Okay, I'm not seeing anything, so I'm going to dive into scholarships. So these are just a few of the different scholarship areas that we'll discuss today and ideas for where to find scholarship opportunities. So before we get into these, we always like to remind everyone that scholarships are competitive. So it is important to have a plan in place for the costs of your program that do not include receiving some of these scholarships. Many scholarship applications are going to have deadlines after you've needed to apply to your study abroad program. And in particular, many scholarship announcements are not made until well after you've needed to commit to attending a study abroad program. So for that reason, we say it's really important that you do have a financial plan in place that can be changed or shifted based on scholarships that you may be applying for, that you may receive in the future. But in case that scholarship you've applied for does not come through, we want to make sure that you do have a good plan. So for scholarships offered through the ASU Study Abroad Office, we're going to start off with the SAO Travel Grant. The travel grant is going to be based on, wording will be based on demonstrated financial need and academic merit. There are going to be 2 deadlines per program cycle. That priority deadline is really what you should be aiming for because as you'll see, that award amount is higher. So if you submit your application by the listed priority deadline for the term that you plan to study abroad during, you will be considered for $1,000 in award. The final deadline you'll see is usually about a month or so later than that priority deadline. So we've set priority deadlines in an effort to help students better plan and know that they have funding available to them before they need to make some of those decisions to commit financially to a program. So we try through funding offered by our office to make that information known and available to you before you need to make those commitments. But as I mentioned earlier, unfortunately, not all scholarships are able to take similar action. So if you apply by that priority application deadline and for some reason are not selected for a scholarship, we will keep your application on file until that final deadline and reconsider you again at that time for the $500 award amount. So you'll see here deadlines based on the term that you are applying to study abroad during. So please make sure that you are keeping those dates in mind because they are early compared to some of the application deadlines for programs. Okay, next up is the SAO Diversity Scholarship. Diversity in study abroad is defined pretty broadly, as you'll see on this slide. So we do leave this to you in your scholarship essays to make sure that you are making your case. We do not assume anything from names or any of your ASU data, so it is important that you are calling attention in your essays to any diverse characteristics you may have, as well as the impact your study abroad experience will have on you. The diversity scholarship is going to be a $2,000 award. And again, you'll see that those deadlines are going to be earlier than many of our program application deadlines, so that we can review those scholarship applications and make award and notifications before you've needed to make those commitment decisions to your program. So we're trying to help in that sense. Please do also keep in mind that you can apply to both the travel grant and diversity scholarship, and we'll be getting to a few other SAO scholarships in a minute, but we will only award students one. So it's a good idea to apply for all of them, just because you don't know what the pool of candidates will look like for any one individual scholarship. And by applying to all, you are setting your chances up for receiving one of those scholarships to be higher. Okay. Next, we have the Sun Devils at Work Scholarship. This is a unique scholarship that applies to students who are studying abroad on a summer internship or research program. So in order to be eligible, you do need to be applying to a summer study abroad program that involves internship or extensive research. And you'll find on our website a link to a list of programs that qualify for this scholarship. Review criteria for this is going to be academic merit, your essay questions, and financial need. Again, this year we only have one of these scholarships available for the summer program session, and that deadline will be February 1st. Okay, next we have the Local to Global Scholarship. For this scholarship, you do need to be an Arizona resident, and that means paying ASU Arizona resident tuition. You need to hold a 3.0 cumulative GPA, have sophomore standing or higher, and have a FAFSA on file. Again, there will be essays involved with all of these scholarship applications. For this scholarship application, award amounts are up to $3,000. For summer and fall, you'll need to make sure that you're submitting your application by March 1st, and our spring cycle just wrapped up with a September 25th deadline. Okay. Other places to be looking for funding. So these are opportunities outside of our office, but here at ASU, many departments at ASU offer funding for study abroad experiences. So please do make sure that you are checking our website as well as asking your academic advisors or unit to see if they are aware of any departmental funding that may be available. Okay. We had a question earlier, I think Floor, you may have, yes, Floor. This is going to be our chart of scholarship opportunities that are general ASU funding. So the Obama Scholarship, New American University Scholarship, general grants and loans offered by ASU. This will be a chart that indicates how those can apply towards different study abroad program types. So you'll see exchange semester programs, all different types of ASU aid can apply. Whereas faculty-directed summer programs, you'll see Pell Grants and federal loans will apply. Some of this has to do with scholarships are semester-based at ASU, so the Obama Scholarship and New American University Scholarship are based during the semester. So if you're looking for a semester experience or a program like our Global Intensive Experience programs, yeah, so Global Intensive Experience programs are going to be those short break programs. So spring break, post-spring, winter break. They're going to be short-term, but are tied to the semester. And so for that reason, semester scholarships and financial aid can apply. Good question. And those run both fall and spring semesters. There are options tied to both of those terms. Okay. Okay. So for federal financial aid, outside scholarships, we'd like to highlight the Benjamin A. Gilman Scholarship. So for this scholarship, you do need to be a Pell Grant recipient, and your study abroad program needs to be at least 3 weeks in length or more. Gilman does preference students who are studying abroad in diverse locations or have diverse characteristics themselves and have really detailed and engaging essays. Gilman does award scholarships of up to $5,000, and you'll see deadlines listed here. So in early October, students could apply for Gilman to be considered actually for summer, spring semester, or even early fall decisions. And the next application cycle will be opening in January, and the deadline for that cycle will be early March, and you'll be able to apply for the Gilman Scholarship towards summer study abroad opportunities or full semester study abroad opportunities. Bree Mills will be the main contact for the Gilman Scholarship here at ASU. Bree works in the Office of National Scholarship Advisement, and they're located over in the Barrett Honors College. They are here to support students from all across the university, so you do not need to be part of Barrett in order to use their scholarship services. It's a really good tool to make sure that you are using. Bree has read for Gilman, I think at least once, if not more than once, and so knows very well what they are looking for in essays. And she can really help you craft a well thought out and well-written essay to make you as eligible as possible for the Gilman Scholarship. It's also important to keep in mind that the Office of National Scholarship Advisement is here to support you through other scholarship opportunities, not just Gilman. They work with students who are applying to Bourne, future opportunities like Fulbright, Goldwater, lots of different scholarship options. They're a really good office to have knowledge of and to start attending different info sessions with if you are considering future opportunities post-graduation as well. So, as I mentioned, their team also advises for the Bourne Scholarship, which is a critical need language scholarship. Their cycle is a little different, a little similar to the Killam Scholarship in that they have one application deadline per year. That's going to be in January. So you do need to be planning ahead if you are considering applying for either the Killam Scholarship or the Bourne Scholarship. For Bourne, award amounts are typically $10,000 for a semester or $20,000 for a year abroad, but you do need to be studying abroad with the purpose of studying a critical need language. For the Killam Scholarship, this is a Fulbright Canada Scholarship, so it is a very prestigious program, and you would be spending a semester or year on exchange in Canada at one of the fellowship universities that are part of the consortium. Again, that will be a $5,000 award for semester participants and $10,000 participant for a full year. And Dr. Kyle Mox will be a great resource for either those opportunities as well as other scholarships that the Office of National Scholarship Advisement works with. So our office also provides on our website a partnership and external scholarship search, along with those offered through our own office. You will find this. I will drop some links into the chat in a little bit, but this is going to be a great database to use as a launching off point. It's a great idea to plan ahead if you know when ideally you are interested in studying abroad. use this search early to create a schedule for yourself and map out what deadlines to be planning for, when scholarship applications open for the cycle you are interested in studying abroad during, and make sure that you don't miss them. Okay, so already hit that first bullet point, making sure that you're searching scholarships early and knowing the deadlines. Essays are going to ask you to answer very specific prompts. So while a lot of the essays that you're asked to write for scholarships are similar, you will find slight differences in the prompts. So please do make sure that you are carefully adjusting any essays to address the prompt as specifically as you can. As you're writing your essays, make sure that you are getting a second pair of eyes on them. Using the Writing Center at ASU is a great resource, or turning to friends, family members, your international coordinator in our office. If it's a scholarship that is being read outside of our office, we're happy to take a look at them. But it's really helpful in making sure that your essays are addressing the prompt and are making sense to have a second set of eyes on them. Read your essay out loud. This really helps in making sure that your grammar is on point and that the point you're trying to get across makes clear sense. And my favorite, give your essay a break. I know it can be hard to get a head start on those essays, but give yourself the time so that you can give it a break and come back to it in a day or two when you have some fresh eyes. And as I mentioned at the start, do consider scholarships a bonus because many award decisions will not be available until after you've needed to financially commit to attending your program. Okay, I did see a couple of questions pop up. So global intensive experience can be in summer too. So as I mentioned, the global intensive experience programs are tied to the semester. So they may run in the post-spring term, so right at the end of the spring semester in May, but they are tied to the spring semester. Or they may run right before the start of the fall semester, but the class associated is tied to the fall semester. So global intensive experience programs are not going to be technically summer session programs. Those will be a separate program type. And what do scholarships cover exactly? I have New American University, so would that pay for tuition or also tickets and food? Good question. So the New American University Scholarship will apply to any outstanding charges on your ASU account first when your scholarships disperse. So if you have outstanding costs on your account that exceed what your New American University Scholarship would cover, then your scholarship will max out there. But if you find that your scholarship will cover more than what charges you have on your account, then it typically is going to be dispersed to you as a refund. And that is money that you would then be able to use towards whatever costs you may have. Similar with the Obama Scholarship, but with the Obama Scholarship, it's important to keep in mind that that award amount is going to be based on your cost of attending ASU here in Arizona. It's not going to increase in award amount based on an increased cost of studying abroad. Other questions about scholarships right now? So I'm sure that demonstrated, you'll see there are a lot of scholarships out there, but it is very important to research scholarships early to make sure that you are finding options that you personally are eligible for. And again, making sure that you're keeping track of those deadlines and submitting on time. Okay. Let's dive into community-based funding. Okay. So as you consider community-based funding, we have 3 main tips or pieces of advice. First is to make sure that you have your elevator speech ready. So really think about why you are planning this study abroad experience. What is it specifically that you are hoping to gain, either personally, academically, professionally? What are your goals for this experience? And make sure that you're able to articulate those clearly. Then why this program specifically? Are there certain reasons why you're interested in a certain program? I know some mentioned interest in studying abroad in South Korea and Japan. What about those programs has really drawn you in, and what are you going to gain from that experience overall? Offer something in return. As you're asking for support in fundraising, make sure that you're thinking about what you can give back, whether that's thank you notes to anyone who contributes or little gifts from abroad. I know oftentimes students will bring back little trinkets or their favorite candy from their location to share with those who helped them get on their program. A lot of students also look at providing a service, so really getting creative with their own abilities, whether that's offering to make something or to volunteer with a local organization to give back. Really think about what you can offer your community and those who are helping to contribute to your ability to study abroad. And use your social media. Really expand your reach by posting opportunities to contribute on LinkedIn, on Facebook, Instagram. Really think about where you are able to connect. So if you are considering crowdsource funding, this is usually the most common option and one of the easiest in terms of reach. So if you do decide to create a crowdsource funding page, make sure that you're interacting with your audience regularly. So we've seen a lot of students find that making a video to really use that elevator pitch in a video format to be a great way to connect with their audience. Really make it personal. Again, thinking about those goals, how you're going to give back to your community as well, and really reaching your audience. Keep your story positive and upbeat. So again, future focused, what you're going to gain from the experience and how that will contribute to your long-term goals. Create meaningful incentives. So maybe you offer for the next day. If you contribute $20 in the next day, if I reach $100 in contributions, I'm going to volunteer for 2 hours this weekend at a local shelter. Think about what some incentives are that you can offer and kind of build that momentum in contributions. And build that momentum early and keep posting and sharing and updating about your campaign. And again, be thinking strategically about what your ask is. So asking for too much can be challenging. Think about, what is something tangible that people may want to help you with? Thinking about asking for support in purchasing your airfare or applying for your passport. Some of those items that you need to get abroad are often items that people are more interested and able to help contribute to, because it's something that they can see as a necessary need that you have in order to accomplish your goal in studying abroad. Asking for funds to support your personal spending, you may not have as much success in receiving funding for. So really think about what you're asking for and how you're going to represent that to those you're asking for help from. And we have a great resource on our website on community-based funding, a whole handbook. And Carly is a past study abroad participant through our office who studied abroad in China, I believe, on a ceramics program. And she really went above and beyond in creating a crowdsource funding program for herself that helped raise quite a bit of money. And she created different ceramic pieces that she gave as incentives for those who were able to contribute funds to her cause. So other fundraising tips, again, so as we talked about, really articulating what your needs are and thinking about what you're asking money for. Be strategic about gift giving events. The holidays are coming up. If your family is a family that offers gifts at the holidays, think about asking for money towards your study abroad or asking for help in applying for your passport. Capitalize on your strengths. So as I mentioned, Carly participated on this ceramics program and created ceramics as incentives in her crowdsource funding. And so think about what your strengths are and how you can give back. Motivate yourself as well to save all the money that you're earning as well, and show others what you're doing to help offset the costs of your experience as well. And again, that community-based funding guide is a really great resource to help come up with other ideas as well. Okay. Questions so far? I'm going to drop a couple links in here while I'm waiting to see if there are any questions. Don't see any questions coming in. Okay. So some next steps. Do your research on programs and really hone in on a select program or term. Narrow down those options. Make sure that you're talking with your academic advisor about the program or programs you are considering to make sure that you are identifying options that will also help you keep on track at ASU with your academics. For more information on study abroad in general, attending one of our Study Abroad 101 workshops, if you haven't already, is a great idea as well. Next up, determine your total costs. So once you've got your programs narrowed down, really make sure that you are looking at the program cost sheets carefully and understanding exactly what is included in that program fee or what is not included in that program fee. So what the non-billable items are that you need to be accounting for. And remember to consider other ASU fees that you may have. So again, those college fees, the financial aid trust fee, items like that. As you're honing in on that program and applying. Make sure that you're speaking with a financial aid counselor about any questions you may have related to how your specific financial aid offer will apply towards your selected program. And make sure that you're getting that application in for your program by the deadline listed. Within your application, if you, again, are applying to a partnership or faculty-led program, you will have an option to choose your billing preference as to whether you would like that program fee billed in one amount or two split amounts. And then, again, make sure that you are exhausting all of your financial resources. So considering financial aid, scholarship and grant opportunities that you can be applying for, and turning to your community and using some community-based funding. And lastly, go abroad. So that is all we have for today's session. I'm going to stick around for a while. Like I mentioned, I dropped several links in the chat box here for you that will help get you to different sections of our financing page to hopefully help with your resources and planning for a study abroad program. But again, please feel free throughout the next 10 minutes or so I'll hang out to drop any questions you may have in the chat box, and I will either address those live or through the chat. But I hope this information was helpful, and